Hey, in this tutorial we revisit a cactus balloon. I had one before, but I decided to do a different version of it. I think you'll like. It's pretty darn cute. I'm Juan Gonzalez, also known as John London with J Lo Magic Balloon Videos. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, welcome back to the channel. Nice to see your smiling faces. Glad you can make it, and hopefully I'll get this out on time so you can watch it and use it for the weekend, or if you're a restaurant person, you can go and use it for your restaurant. So anyway, as June comes along and school's coming to an end, for some people it's already done, we are getting a lot of weekday gigs, and so it's kind of cool when that happens because it's extra money, of course, but also, you know what? If you're a growing business, you realize that you really got to get out there and vet some people and make sure that you know, they're going to do a good job for you and that you train them well and all that fun stuff. So, you know, this last week we were at a couple of them, but one that I remember that was like really cool and I was really happy about it is that we got in there and we got all set up and we're ready to go. And you know, in the years past, it felt like there was more people, and today was just kind of, you know, maybe because it was at the end of a school day and it was middle of the week as opposed to the end, it worked out really nice where our line never got really too long as far as balloon twisting goes. And when it came down to 3 people left sitting there in the line, and we're just kind of, you know, they all said they wanted swords, so, you know, you're like, thank you, balloon god. You know, like, can't get any easier than balloon swords, right? She looked at the 3 kids there, and then she looked at us, and she says, after those 3 kids, you guys are done. And when does that ever happen? If you can think back, you just, you know, go back in your mind when you're in an event and the client will say that to you, hey, just those last 2 or those last 3 and you're done. You know, because that's kind of cool, because that's a little bit of firepower for people that step up, you know, at the last minute wanting full service. I think we've all been there. If you've twisted for more than one day, you realize that happens. And so maybe that's another story for another time about how that happened as well this past weekend, where someone steps up at the last moment and says, man, come on, man, give me everything you got. You know, so I was really happy when she said that. And so, you know, share some story like that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get back to what you're here for, and that is the balloon tutorial, how to twist that cactus, that cute cactus that you can use. Okay, let's go over the balloons that we're going to use to make it, how much they're inflated. Let's do that. All right, so here they are. The balloons we're going to use are some 350s, a 260, and actually the 160 is not going to make it into this video. Actually, it's an addition we're going to make to it. But if you're a Patreon member, you'll find out exactly what that's all about, what we're going to use the 160 for. So again, if you're a Patreon member, you know, check out the site in a little while. I'll see if I can't get that uploaded and ready to go just for you guys. No problem. I want to thank you guys for everybody that signed up, but I don't want to get too much off of the topic here, and that is twisting now. So let's talk about the amount of balloons, the amount of air left. So you can see I have about over a hand's grip there for that, and then about 2 to 3 fingers on the end of that one. And this one's only blown up a little bit, I would say about halfway actually, now that I'm looking at it. Okay, so that's the way it's going to work right there. Let's go ahead and get started with our twisting. Let's bring that sound down. Here we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with our green 350, and I just twisted 2 segments. They're about, I would say, about 10 fingers, so that's a good way to gauge it there. Okay, I didn't measure it, but I'm just telling you, about 10 fingers, and we're going to go ahead and go for our coral is the color I used on here. And notice that I did leave a long nozzle on it, okay? That's going to come back to play in just a moment. But again, let's do about 8 fingers on this. You can even do down to 6 if you want. We're just building our pot for our plant. You see right now, I have that nozzle. I'm going to go ahead and pull it along the bottom to secure it, and I'm going to go all the way back up to the top there. Let's go around a couple times and push it down inside. There we go. So we get our 3 bubble segment there. And now we can attach our top of our cactus. There we go, and just around they go. We're going to keep the coral, and we're going to go ahead and break off the green. And now you can go ahead and secure the green balloon in there. If you want to pull it through that 2 bubble segment, you can. It's up to you. And then our last segment here for the coral, we're going to go ahead and do a bubble followed by a second bubble. There we go. And for the amount of balloon we have left over, look, you can give it a nice squeeze. Go all the way around and come back to that second bubble that you made. and you're gonna twist a small bubble in the end of the coral and twist it with that second bubble you did. So you're gonna create a pinch twist, and it's gonna have a bubble like right next to it, okay? And that'll bring that twisting to an end. There we go. So that's what you have. Now we've created our pot with the rim around it, and now we're gonna go with our 260. We're gonna create the arms for our cactus, and it'll be so simple, and that's what's nice about this design. I was inspired. I saw a couple of designs online, and I just thought, man, it looks so fun. I wanna give it a try, okay? So we just did an arm there, followed by a pinch twist, followed by a 2 to 3 finger segment, and we're gonna do another pinch twist, and let's go ahead and give it a turn. That way it goes in a different direction. There we go. Okay, so we have the one arm there you saw, and I tried to shape it a little bit. And I'm gonna do the same thing for this side. We're gonna go ahead and give it a nice shape. So you're shocking that balloon, give it a good shape. And so go ahead and break off the excess and go ahead and tie that off. And you can trim it down if you need to, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it because I wanna probably put a flower there in a little while. But we'll see how it goes for here. Let me just go ahead and show you what to do with this. Now that you've got your 2 arms, they're gonna fit right in between, you guessed it, right in between the body of the cactus. Very easy to do, see? And because we use 350, it opens up real nice and big. And if you wanna do a 646 instead, you'll get yourself a, big old huge cactus. But otherwise, there it is. Just put it inside there and shape it and move the pinch twist around and get your arms ready to go. You can decide how much higher you want it to be. You can do a smaller arm and a bigger arm. It's really up to you because it's going to be your cactus. So anyway, that pretty much brings our twisting to an end. Thank you very much for hanging out. Cool, so we made it to the end of this twisting, and so as you can tell, not very hard to do, which is kind of cool, and you have yourself a nice, looking cactus, but also you can definitely scale this down, or if you have your 646s, you can definitely scale this baby up and make it nice and big, give it some weight on the bottom here, and maybe use it as a centerpiece. You can see the 350s on the bottom there, they got a good amount of surface. But anyway, there you are right there. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it's not very hard for you to do. And like I said, a couple things to keep in mind is that because we have these little pieces here on top, you can have places to put flowers. If you watch the other design, it had like a hat on it and everything. You could draw a face on it. Think about it. The little hash marks to make the little, golly, what's the word? I can't even think. The little pins, the needles. Well, they're not really needles. I'm not sure exactly what they call them, but anyway, there it is right there for you. So again, if you're not a Patreon member, don't worry, if you're not too hung up about that, and that's no big deal to you. But for my Patreon members, the people that are signed up, I will let you know that I'll talk about what we can put here using that red 160, but it doesn't have to be for that. It's just for illustrative purposes, but we'll get to that later. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Go ahead and get a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, and also if you see the bell notification down there somewhere below, also right here, don't forget to hit that. That way you're notified every time a new video comes out. And again, don't forget to share any kind of situation where the event host came up to you and said, hey, after these next few, you are done. You can go home, or you can go and do something else. You are all set. But also I'd like to hear times where you're at the very end and someone who's been here the whole time, knew you were there, decided that they're gonna come and try to get full service from you, but it's time for you to go, right? And sometimes you gotta stand your ground and be like, too bad, so sad, I'll see you next time. Even with the poor crying kids, that happens sometimes, where the parents are gonna try to use, tug on those heartstrings and get you to bend a little bit. So anyway, all that aside, I was glad that you could hang out with me today, and so I'll see you guys next time. Go out there and have some fun in the sun as it comes out. Well, for most of us, right? And make some cool balloons. All right, my friends, I'll see you next time. Happy twisting. Bye.